Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars on Hidayat TV. I'm your host Hassan Shah, and today it is the 19th Ramadan, and the commander of the faithful Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib alayhi salam was struck on the head by Ibn Muljim on this date and sadly died 3 days later on the 21st of Ramadan. So so our topic today is actually the death of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and we'll talk more about that, but at the beginning we'll talk a little bit about Ramadan as well. Before I continue, I'd like to introduce my guests.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Misbah.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsin.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hussain.
Thank you for the introduction. Okay, so like we do on every show, someone reads a surah and someone reads the translation. Misbah, you're reading surah, and Mohsin, you're reading the translation. So can we start, Mr. Off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. Laylatul qadri khayrun min alf shahr. Tanazzalul malaikatu war-ruhu fiha ibnihim min kulli amr. Salahum tawatlail fajr.
Lord, we revealed it in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Lord, we revealed it on the night of Par. What to correct thee, what the night of Par is. Night of Par is better than the them of the angels and their faith, where they send their end by the permission of their Lord. With all decree that night is peace until the rising of the dawn.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum. Misbah. Okay, so just remember, if you're at home, that when you do recite the surah, you should recite the translation with it, so you get an understanding about the history of the surah and how to implement it into your life. Okay, thank you, Mohsin and Misbah. Okay, before we start with Hussein starting on Ramadan, can we have a salawat in honor of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum. The second in honor of our holy first Imam, our topic today, Imam Ali alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum. Our third with our loudest voices in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Usri was the man. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum. Okay, so let's straight go into it. Hussein's got the first thing, so could we start Hussein off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum.
The month of Ramadan Kareem is an opportunity given by the gracious Creator for His servants to come close to Him, seek forgiveness for their sins and fulfillment of their needs. In the Quran, amidst an important discussion on the month of Ramadan Kareem, the following ayat, which apparently has no direct connection with Ramadan Kareem, is included. And when my servants ask you about me, then surely I am near. I answer the prayers of the supplicant when he calls upon me, so respond to me and believe in me, so that they may be led right. Commentors agree that this is the most poignant of all the verses and divine human connection. The whole verse is based on the single first person pronoun, which is repeated 7 times. It is confirmation of the close relationship between man and his Creator, and an assurance that he will be listened to when he calls upon him. That such a verse should be included among the ayats discussing the importance of Ramadan Kareem, and some of its rules are an indication of the important role of dua in the month of Ramadan Kareem. Abstaining from fulfillment of physical desires stimulates and an increase in spirituality and creates an inclination for prayers and worship. Believers feel close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah reminds them that He is too is close and will answer their prayers. The nights of Ramadan Kareem are spent in prayers and supplications. Even those believers who normally do not have much time for prayers try to do so during this month. This is because of the emphasis on the sanity of the month, the promise of multiplied rewards, as well as the assurance of a favorable response. Says the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, do supplicant with your hands raised, as these are the best of times during which the Almighty looks at His servants with mercy, answers if they supplicant, responds if they call, grant if they ask, and accept if they plead. The best thing a believer can pray for during this month is forgiveness for his past sins. Many of the dua special to the month of Ramadan Kareem plead for forgiveness of the huge burden of sins which man carries. Ramadan al-Mubarak is a glorious chance given to him to have his sins erased and gain a higher position in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So many people are forgiven in this month that it is only the unfortunate who are deprived. Says the Prophet in the same sermon, indeed miserable is he who is deprived of Allah's forgiveness in this great month. Other things to pray for include fulfillment of needs, removal of affliction, and success in the hereafter. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil. Thank you, Hussein. Okay, so what do you think, like, let's think out of Ramadan now. Okay, like when you, what do you do before Ramadan? When Ramadan is not there, yeah, what do we do? What stops us from doing all these things that we do in Ramadan, like praying, reading the Quran? What stops us from doing those stuff, Hussein?
Distractions.
Yeah, distractions. What type of distractions?
Like your phone, and like daily stuff that you would think is normal.
TV.
Yeah, the TV. Watching your favorite programs.
Your all like stuff that you're used to, you'll go back to that and start doing it.
Yeah. So these type of things, all our phones, computers, technology, our game consoles, and loads of other stuff, and the TV, watching our favorite programs, and loads of that stuff stops us from what we're supposed to be doing, doesn't it? It stops us from reading the Quran a lot of times. It stops us from praying. It stops us from doing good deeds as well, doesn't it? Yeah. All of these things that we do stops us. So using our phones, TVs, and all those stuff that we just mentioned, those things stop us from praying, fasting, and sometimes as well fasting, because you don't always fast. We don't always have to fast. Fasting in Ramadan is not only the only fasting time, is it?
No.
Yeah, other times of the year as well, you should, it's recommended actually to fast in some times of the year as well, not Ramadan. So so these things stops us from praying and doing good deeds. So how come in Ramadan does everyone stop doing these things and actually start doing it? Because why?
More blessings in that month.
You do, and all the promises. And why does fasting help us? So we leave out these things and actually to read Quran and pray. Why?
Because, like,
what does fasting do to help us get away from this stuff and actually start doing these things?
Because most of our day is like spent on our phones or eating, like that stuff. So then it's basically, because a big part of your life is eating, so it's taking that out of the way. So you got loads of free time. So then, because you know that you get loads of blessings from reading du'as, reading the Quran, praying, all that stuff, so you would think to do that.
Yeah, because fasting is not only not eating and drinking, is it? It's fasting of your hands, your all your body parts, your eyes. So you can't look at stuff that is forbidden. You can't like touch some other stuff that is forbidden. Say for
can't hurt anybody.
Yeah, you can't hurt anyone, can you? You can't hurt anyone with your hands or your mouth, can it? Because some people, what they do, either they use their phone or they actually are on the street saying this. They're saying nasty words, are they? But while you're fasting, you can't do that, or it breaks your fast, doesn't it? And you have to, once you reach a certain age, you have to fast, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes you away from all these things, so you have more time for what?
For fasting.
Fasting, praying, reading Quran.
Yeah, and doing good deeds as well.
And it gets you thinking about the poor people that don't have.
Yeah,
don't
it does.
have that much.
And it would make you want to give more charity as well. Yeah. So these are the things that happen in Ramadan that doesn't actually happen in other times of the year, does it? And we have more time for these, and this shows us that how we should sometimes put our phone away, turn off our games console, leave the computer for a little bit, just to do these things. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get straight into our topic that we're doing today. And what's our topic?
Imam
Ali.
Yeah, and what day of Ramadan is it today?
19th.
Yes, it's not the 21st, that's actually when he died, actually really died. It's the 19th, and on this day he was he's walking to Fajr, yeah, and he saw a man lying down, because he knew, and he was lying on his belly, and Imam Ali was telling him that he should actually do that, because he knew that the sword was under him, didn't he? He knew that the sword was under him, under Ibn Muljim, the one that actually struck him. So on that night, on this day, so he went down to Fajr, and everyone was sleeping, and Ibn Muljim was there as well, waiting for him with that poisonous sword. And when he was praying, what did he do?
He
struck him in the head.
Yeah, and that's what happened on the 19th. And then 3 days later, he died on the what, Mohsin?
On the 21st.
Yeah, on the 21st of Ramadan. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. Mohsin has the first part. So can we start Mohsin off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib alayhi salam had forced his departure from his world several days beforehand. On the day of his martyrdom, he mysteriously desired his sons Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein to offer their morning prayers in their house and not to accompany him as they usually did to the mosque of Kufa. When Imam Ali alayhi salam was leaving his abode, the household birds began to make a great noise, and one of Imam Ali's servants attempted to quieten them. Imam Ali said, "Leave them alone, for their cries only imitations forbidding my death." Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Mohsin. That was a little bit more information about what happened. So that was a little bit about the a few things that were there as well. So Mohsin again has the next thing. So can we start Mohsin off with a loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
The commander of faithful, the father of Ikhlas, the caretaker of the orphans, the shelter of the needy, and the perfect of all humans. After Holy Prophet Muhammad, born in the household of Allah, Holy Kaaba, and martyred in the house of Allah, Masjid Kufa. He died on the 21st day of Ramadan, 40 AH, and buried in Najaf al-Ashraf. And on the eve of martyrdom of Imam Ali, we take this opportunity to extend our hearty condolences to Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, and the Muslim world. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, help us live the life of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Mohsin. Okay, so that was just telling the death day of Imam Ali and a few little stuff, more stuff. So as Mohsin said, he was born in the Kaaba, wasn't he? And he died actually in a mosque as well. So he was born in the Kaaba, and how is this unique?
Because no man has ever since then and before then been born in the Kaaba.
Yeah, no person on the whole entire earth, from the beginning of time to the end of time, has ever been born in the Kaaba. Has they? And the only person to have been born in the Kaaba, and the only person who will be born in the Kaaba, is who?
Imam Ali.
Imam Ali alayhi salam. So that was just telling a little bit. And he died in a masjid, didn't he? While he was praying, while he was actually praying, he actually died, like you just said before we introduce the topic. Okay, Misbah, the next thing. So could we start Misbah off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
On the 19th of the month of the Holy Ramadan of the year 40 AH, Imam Ali alayhi salam came to the mosque in Kufa for his morning prayers. Imam Ali alayhi salam gave the call for prayer and became engaged in leading the congregation. Ibn Muljam, pretending to pray, stood behind Imam Ali alayhi salam, and when Imam Ali alayhi salam was in a state of prostration, Ibn Muljam dealt a heavy stroke with his sword, inflicting a deep wound on Imam Ali alayhi salam's head. This was the time when Imam Ali alayhi salam uttered his famous words, Fuzutu Rabb il Kaaba, by the Lord of the Kaaba, I am successful. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, had prophesied this annexation of Imam Ali alayhi salam and his issues. Regarding Imam Ali alayhi salam, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had said, O Ali, I see before my eyes thy beard dyed with thy blood of thy forehead. They assassinated Imam Ali alayhi salam at his finest time, the hour of standing before Allah the Exalted, during a prayer of submission, in the best of days of fasting during the month of Ramadan, during the most glorious Islamic duties, while preparing to wage jihad, and in the highest and most pure divine place is the Mosque of Kufa. May joy be to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali ibn Abu Talib, and blessed and a blessed afterlife.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Thank you, Misbah. Okay, could you tell me a few things that Misbah said in there?
He got struck on the head by
Then?
So when Imam Ali was like going down, the man behind him got like a sword and stabbed it into his head, and then it got poison on that. So then 3 days afterwards, then it actually like killed him off.
Yeah. And that was on the 19th of Ramadan, which we already mentioned. And how many years after Hijrah?
The year 40 AH.
Yeah, 40 years after Hijrah. So what does so AH actually stands for after Hijrah, which means after the Prophet actually went to his first
pilgrimage.
Yeah, to the Kaaba. Yeah, and Imam Ali was born in there, as we already said.
The man that struck Imam Ali was Ibn Muljam.
Yeah, he actually took the poisonous sword and struck him in Sajda, didn't he? Yeah, and as soon as he struck him, what famous words that Miss was saying did he utter? You can say the English, because I don't think you could remember the Arabic.
By the Lord of the
Kaaba. By the Lord of the
Kaaba,
I am successful.
Yeah, by the Lord of the Kaaba, I have been successful. So he's actually saying, who's the Lord of the Kaaba? Allah. And he's telling that Allah has told him he has been successful in his duty to spread the religion, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done his job. He protected, first of all, he was the first boy to actually accept Islam, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he was the first man to accept Islam, because the Prophet when Prophet Muhammad came from the cave and told Bibi Khadija, she was actually the first woman to know about actually convert into Islam when Prophet Muhammad was spreading it. So first of all, he told Bibi Khadija was the first one. But when actually Muhammad first came out and told everyone, Imam Ali alayhi salam was the actual first person to join into this, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he was the first man to actually join in. So after that, he protected the Prophet as well, didn't he? And he done his job in spreading the religion. That's why he was successful, wasn't he? Yeah, at the end he was successful. Okay, thank you for that, Misbah. Hussein has got the next thing, so could we start saying off the last salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
The crime of assassinating Imam Ali alayhi salam remains one of the most cruel, brutal and hideous, because it was not committed against one man, but against the whole rational Islamic leadership. By assassinating Imam Ali alayhi salam, they actually aimed at assassinating the message, the history, the culture and the nation of Muslims embedded in the person of Imam Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salam. In doing so, the Islamic nation lost its guide of process and at the most wondrous opportunity in its life, and after the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Imam Ali alayhi salam suffered from his wound for 3 days, and he alayhi salam passed away on the 21st of the month of Ramadan at the age of 63. During these 3 days, he entrusted his son Imam Hassan alayhi salam with the imamate of guiding the nation ideologically and socially during those 3 days, as during all his life he never ceased remembering Allah, praising him and accepting him as his ordinance. ordinance. Likewise, he continued giving pieces of advice and direction to leadership, pointing to the right, defining the way to guidance, explaining the course of deliverance, calling for the observation of other ordinance, and warning against following one's ill desires and setbacks for not carrying out the divine message. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjam. Thank you, Hussein. Okay, so what did Hussein actually say there? Any few facts that actually Hussein said in there? Hussein?
Basically everybody, so when Imam Ali actually passed away, everybody, not only him and his family was affected, everybody who was a Muslim got affected by that.
So when whoever the person who hired actually Ibn Muljim to actually kill Imam Ali, assassinate him, when they hired him to assassinate him, he didn't. The people who hired Ibn Muljim didn't only want to assassinate Imam Ali for the essential reason because they didn't like him. They did not like him, but they did want to also assassinate Imam Ali, but with him to assassinate the whole religion and all of his followers as well. But did that happen?
No.
No. Why did that not happen? Why do you think it didn't happen?
Cause once if Imam Ali dies, and a person could easily just secretly just preach out without anybody knowing. Still keep on preaching out.
Not exactly. Okay. Any more ideas? Why do you think it has from that time Imam Ali was assassinated by Ibn Muljim, and people who hired him wanted when Imam Ali was finished, so the assassination would assassinate his whole followers and the religion with him. So, Hussein?
Is it because that they knew that they didn't really have to kill everybody? All they got to do is kill Imam Ali, and that would affect everybody like that, because they would think if they kill one of the main leaders, they might convert to his religion, sort of.
Maybe.
Maybe.
No, I'm asking exactly why, when they with the actual people who hired Ibn Muljim, they didn't only want to assassinate Imam Ali just because they hated him. They did hate him, that's why they hired Ibn Muljim. But why did they assassinated Imam Ali as well? Because they hated him, but they also wanted to assassinate his followers with him, and the religion with him, so they won't follow him anymore. So why has that not happened, Hussein?
Why not happened?
Yeah, why hasn't it all just died out? Why?
Because was it because Imam Ali, when he was dying, he told Imam Hassan to continue preaching?
Yeah, that's one thing as well. And Mohsin?
He told people to ask him some questions before he died, and they thought
that was one actually he said. Imam Ali did actually say, ask me any of your questions before I die, or you won't know, something like that. That's what he was saying as well. And Hussein brought up an important point, saying that he told Imam Hassan and Hussein in his
not
letter
to come with him when they went to Fajr.
Or that they might have died as well, and he purposely did this. Why?
Because he knew that he was going to die, so then he didn't want them seeing it, or them actually getting killed themselves.
Yeah, or as well that that's two things that could actually happen. And another thing could actually happen, that would they actually struck him, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein would have fight for their dad, wouldn't it? And maybe killed him as well, Ibn Muljim as well, don't you think? Yeah, that might have happened as well, and he didn't want that to happen, did he? Because he knew, and he told Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein that this is why one of the points that he did the religion, because when they wanted to assassinate Imam Ali, they wanted to assassinate the religion with him. So that this is why the religion never go, because Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein continued it. And actually, when you show people the truth, yeah, and they can't deny it anymore, what do?
Run, hide.
That's what some people do that have no knowledge. But who, if they are open-minded and they can't say anything else, and it's the only option,
they accept it.
Yeah, they accept it as well, and that's why it is still here today, because of Imam Ali, the Imams continuing it, and the things that Imam Ali said and the things that he preached that made it continue, because he was such a good character and showed that how you supposed to be, and gave Islam a real light, didn't he?
Yeah.
And showed it that it is truth, isn't it, Misbah and Mohsin? Yeah. So Hussein has got the next thing. So could we start Hussein off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
The following is one piece of advice offered to his sons, Imam Hassan alayhi and Imam Hussein alayhi, as well as to his people, the nation and coming generations. I advise you to fear Allah and not to run after the pleasure of the world, even if it may run after you. Do not be sorry for anything from it which you have been denied. Say the truth and act for Allah's reward. Be an enemy of the oppressor and be an helper of the oppressed. I advise you, my children, my household, and all those who may receive my message, to fear Allah, to arrange your affairs well, to maintain good relationships among yourselves. For I have heard your grandfather, peace be upon him, saying, good relationships are better than praying and fasting in general. Fear Allah when handling matters of orphans. Do not let them starve, nor allow them to be lost as long as you are there. Fear Allah in respect to your neighbors, for they were the trust of your Prophet, peace be upon him. He went on asking us to take care of them, so much that we thought he would make them heirs of our heritage. Fear Allah in respect to the Holy Quran. Take care that no one may excel you in following its tenets. Fear Allah in respecting to prayer, as it is the pillar of your religion. Fear Allah in respecting to your Lord, house Kaaba. Do not forsake it so long as you live, because if you do, you will not be looked upon with respect. Fear Allah in respect to jihad. Fight with your wife, your lives and your tongues in the way of Allah. Have mutual alliance and give and take. Beware of turning your faces from and of renouncing one another. Do not abandon bidding good and forbidding evil, lest vicious people may overrule you, and then in such a case your invocations will not be responded to by Allah. Then he said, O Bani Abu Muttalib, certainly I do not want you to wade through the blood of the Muslims, crying Amri al-Mu'min was murdered. You certainly kill for me no one but my killer. Wait till I die by this stroke of him, then strike a single stroke against him, and do not disfigure his body, for I have heard the Prophet, peace be upon him, saying, avoid mayhem even with a rabid dog. Such was the heroic end of this great man. The loss of the mission and the nation was the gravest after the loss of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil. This is one of the things that actually he wrote to his sons, that said all these things, and which was one of the things that continued religion, because his sons were the one that actually did that, didn't they? Yeah. Didn't they? And Misbah has actually the next thing. So can we start Misbah off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahu.
By the death of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the nation lost a heroism that became the song of the time, a courageous history that has never dreamt of its like, a wisdom no one can fathom save Allah, a purity the like of which was only in the prophets, an absence from the pleasures of a life that could be attained by the only nearest to Allah, an eloquence such to be the echo of the book, and jurisprudence and a thorough knowledge of the laws of religion that made him the gateway of the city, the prophet's knowledge and the authority to whom the Islamic nation referred in all its affairs. Peace be upon Amir al-Mu'minin, the day he was born, the day he was martyred on this altar, and the day he shall be raised alive. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the world. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahu. Thank you, Misbah. And that was just saying the few things that actually were lost with Imam Ali alayhi salam when he actually sadly passed away. That was a few of his attributes as well, because how good he was actually. And what do we usually have at the end of the show?
Quiz.
A quiz. Okay, so I have 5 questions here. Out of 100%, how do you think you're gonna do?
99.
99. And
100.
99.
99. Okay, Miss Ben, you're saying on 99, Mohsin on 100. Okay, I'm gonna ask you these questions. You gotta say them afterwards. Number 1, name the title of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Name one title. It's actually mentioned throughout there. Yeah, Mohsin.
Allah brave line.
That was not actually how it's going. Hussein.
Are you asking for anyone?
Yeah, that was actually mentioned there.
Oh.
If you could try. It's actually in English because it was mentioned as you were saying it in English. I'll give you the Arabic. Amir al-Mu'minin. What does that actually mean in English, Mohsin?
I think it means I think it means the
guided one.
No.
The wife.
No.
Line of Allah.
No.
The
C. It begins with a C. It's actually
the
4 words. 4 words.
courageous, is that one?
No. Amir al-Mu'minin. Command.
The commander. The commander of the no, I mean the commander of the
Come on, you're nearly there. One more word.
Commander of the army.
No.
no
Commander of the people.
commander of
Islam.
the imams.
No.
Commander of Islam.
No.
Commander of army.
Commander
No.
of his followers.
The last word begins with a F.
Commander of followers.
No.
Commander.
Commander of commander of
What's another word for religion?
commander faith.
Yeah, it's actually faith. But what is it? You gotta say the whole.
The commander of faith.
No. There's actually a which adds on to there. I can give you that if you don't get it.
The faithful one.
You said that word.
Commander of the faithful.
Yes, Miss actually got it right. Yes, Miss was on 1 point now. Okay, 2. What was the date of Ramadan when Ibn Muljim struck Imam Ali alayhi salam? Mohsin?
21st of Ramadan.
No, Mohsin?
The 19th.
Yeah, the 19th of Ramadan. Okay, Miss was on 1, Hussein's on 1. 3. What famous words did Imam alayhi salam utter when he was struck on the head? Mohsin?
Can I say the English first?
Yeah.
It was something.
Come on, 5. 4.
The Lord of the
2. 1. Okay, I'll give it to Misbah.
The Lord.
Come on, remember.
To the
5.
Lord of the Kaaba, I am
5.
his successor.
That's it.
It's not in the correct order actually. If Hussein can give a more precise answer, I'll give it to him. Hussein?
To the Lord of
No.
I am the success. I'm the success.
No.
I'm the successor of the Lord of the Kaaba.
No.
What do you mean?
Mohsin, I'll give it back to Mohsin.
The Lord of
No.
no wait.
I am
The Kaaba of the Lord.
Okay, so
success of the Lord
no,
of the Kaaba.
no.
I'm
No,
the
you won't
success
get
of
it
the
mixed
Kaaba
up.
of the
No,
Lord.
no.
I'm the
Okay, Misbah, can you try? Okay. Misbah gave the most precise answer before all
What
of
did
you.
she say? What did she say?
She can't remember now.
She said.
Okay, give you 10 seconds.
But no,
10,
No, I know.
9, 8 to 10. Just say if you know. 9, 8,
But
7,
I'm the success
5,
of the Lord of the Kaaba.
5.
I'm
What's
the
it?
Lord of the Kaaba. I'm the success.
The Lord of the Kaaba, I am successful.
No, I know.
Actually, Miss with that one, Miss was said before you. So, what?
The Lord of the Kaaba.
No.
I
Okay,
am
I'll just tell you the answer. This is gonna.
I am the success. I am the success of the Lord of the Kaaba.
No. Miss was said it the most
I
precise
know,
before all of
I
you.
know.
Mohsin, what?
The Lord of the
Lord of the Kaaba, I am his successor.
Okay, I gotta stop there. I'll just tell you it. By the Lord of the Kaaba, I am successful. That was actually the answer. So Miss got the most precise answer there. I'll give you heard the point. So Mohsin and Mohsin and Hussein, you're on 2. Mohsin and Hussein, you got 1 each, and Misbah, you're on 2. Okay. I'm gonna okay, Mohsin, you have 0 then. Okay, then this is going to be the last question because we're running out of time. 4. How long did he suffer from his wound? Hussein?
3 days.
Yeah, 3 days. Okay, at the end of that round, Misbah, I have one last question, but we need to finish because we're running out of time. Okay, I'll just do it now. Tiebreaker for all of you. Okay, number 5. At what date did he pass away? Misbah?
The 21st Ramadan.
Yes, the 21st of Ramadan. Okay, at the end of that round, Misbah is in first place with 3 points, Hussein in second place with 2 points, and Mohsin in last place with sadly 0 points. But just remember that you're all winners, and I hope you lot at home learnt a lot from today's show. Did you learn a lot from today's show? Yeah? And I hope you guys answered a lot of these questions and actually got them right. So before we end the show, I'll just tell you that we got a video after this show, and it shows when someone asked Imam Ali, how do you view God, and he actually told the person in a very detailed answer of how he actually did. So I do suggest that you watch the end of that video that we're going to show after today's show. Okay, hope you learned a lot from today's show at home, and these did, and I did myself. I did learn a lot from today's show. We'll see you next week and continue with our Prophethood series, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, good Hafiz.
كلام له عليه السلام. وقد سأله ذعلب اليماني: هل رأيت ربك يا أمير المؤمنين؟ فقال عليه السلام: أفأعبد ما لا أرى؟ فقال: وكيف تراه؟ فقال عليه السلام: ويلك يا ذعلب، لا تراه العيون بمشاهدة العيان، ولكن تدركه القلوب بحقائق الإيمان. معروف بالدلالات منعوت بالعلامات لا يقاس بالناس ولا يدرك بالحواس يا ثعلب إن ربي قريب من الأشياء غير ملامس بعيد منها غير مباين متكلم لا بروي ظاهر لا بتأويل مباشرة متجل لا باستهلال رؤيا بائن لا بمسافة قريب لا بمدانات مريد لا بهمة صانع لا بجارحة درواك لا بخديعة لطيف لا يوصف بالخفاء كبير لا يوصف بالجفاء عظيم العظمة لا يوصف بالعظام جليل الجلالة لا يوصف بالغلظ سميع لا يوصف بآلاء بصير لا يوصف بالحاسة رحيم لا يوصف بالرقة قبل كل شيء فلا يقال شيء قبله وبعد كل شيء فلا يقال له بعده هو في الأشياء كلها غير متمازج بها ولا بائن عنها موجود لا بعد عدم فاعل لا باضطرار مقدر لا بحركة لا تحوي الأماكن ولا تضمن الأوقات ولا تحده الصفات ولا تأخذه السنات سبق الأوقات كونه والعدم وجوده والابتداء أزله كان ربا إذ لا مربوب وإلها إذ لا مألوه وعالما إذ لا معلوم وسميعا إذ لا مسموع تعنو الوجوه لعظمته وتجب القلوب من مخافته وتتهالك النفوس على مراضيه